The galaxy had always whispered about the Forbidden Expanse. It was not marked on any common map, yet every pilot, every trader, every explorer knew of it. It was a place of silence and loss. For hundreds of years, no ship that crossed its invisible border ever came back. Probes were swallowed by static. Scouts vanished without a trace. Even the bravest captains refused to fly near it. The Expanse became a wound in space, a shadow that frightened whole empires. The Galactic Council called it nothing but myth. To them, it was a story told by smugglers and pirates, a tale to keep travelers from dangerous routes. But the people of the galaxy did not laugh. They told stories in low voices. They spoke of strange lights, of signals that sounded like cries, of whole fleets erased in moments. Some said an ancient empire had died inside the Expanse. Others said the void itself had grown hungry. For centuries, the Council ignored it. Why waste time on superstition? Why spend fleets on chasing smoke?
The Expanse was left alone and the galaxy moved on.
Until one ordinary day, the silence was broken. On the edge of a trade route, a network of listening stations picked up something impossible. It was faint at first, a whisper of metal moving against the dark. Long-range sensors caught the outline of a massive object leaving the Expanse. The readings did not match any known species. It was larger than a destroyer, larger even than the great dreadnoughts of the Threxian fleets, and stranger still, it moved slowly, calmly, without fear. The first blurry images arrived at the Council. Many dismissed them at once. The object was too sharp, too clean, too unreal. A glitch, some said. A reflection, others argued. The Expanse is empty, there is nothing alive there. But the data kept coming. The object was real and it was coming closer. One counselor demanded silence in the chamber. She enlarged the image, sharpened the contrast, and let the room stare. The shape was unmistakable. A warship. Its lines were angular, its hull layered with thick armor. Enormous cannons stretched out like the arms of a sleeping beast. The silence in the chamber deepened. Everyone recognized the symbols painted across its steel body. They were human, shock spread like fire. Humanity was a young race. They had only stepped into the stars a few centuries ago. Their fleets were small. Their colonies were scattered. No human ship had ever been seen this far from their worlds. And nothing, not even the boldest predictions, suggested they could build something of this size. "It is impossible," one alien shouted. "Humans cannot build such a ship." "Then explain the symbols," another counselor replied coldly. The debate grew loud and angry. Some swore it was a trick. Others claimed it was a ghost ship, perhaps built by humans who had entered the Expanse long ago and never returned. A few even believed it was not human at all, but some ancient power using human markings as bait. But far away from the chamber at the edge of the Forbidden Expanse, the object kept moving, calm, silent, relentless. The Council sent 3 fleets to intercept it. Proud ships from 3 empires raced forward, weapons armed and sensors burning. They surrounded the strange vessel, demanding identification, but the human ship gave no answer. It did not slow. It did not change course. It drifted onward, steady as stone. Then came the first failure. The nearest fleet lost its sensors. Their screens went dark, their communications silent. It was as if the space around them had bent out of shape. The second fleet fired probes, but the probes vanished the moment they neared the vessel. The third fleet tried to circle behind it, but their engines stalled. They floated helplessly while the human ship glided past them. Across the galaxy, panic spread. Reports filled every channel. Was this a weapon? A phantom? Or worse, was it something new, something the galaxy had no defense against? The human governments were questioned. Did they build it? Did they send it? Every human leader denied it. They claimed ignorance. They claimed innocence. But that only made the mystery deeper. If humans did not know this ship, then what was it? The Council argued through the night. Some said destroy it before it reached any star system. Others said follow it and see where it went. But no matter what they decided, one truth had already spread too far to stop. The galaxy had seen the ship, and it bore human markings. Whispers grew into fear. Fear grew into obsession. Species that had once ignored humanity now turned their eyes on them. Could the young race be hiding something? Could they be more dangerous than anyone had believed? But far away from all the debates, the ship drifted on, silent and unstoppable. Its cannons slept, its engines hummed, and its shadow spread across the stars. The galaxy had asked for proof, and now it had it. The Expanse was not empty. The ship was real, and no one, no council, no empire, no scientist could decide if it was a ship of men or something that should never have existed at all. The image of the human warship spread faster than fire in dry fields. Every world, every system, every hidden station whispered about it. At first, many still refused to accept it. "It is false," said one empire. "It is a trick of light," said another. But denial could not stand against proof. The vessel was there, drifting calmly out of the Forbidden Expanse, and it looked more human with every detail revealed. The council chamber became a storm of voices. Screens showed the grainy outline of the ship. Its surface carried scars of battles that no one could identify. Whole plates of its armor were scorched black, others twisted as if struck by weapons unknown. Yet it kept moving as if nothing could stop it. Its guns, long and silent, pointed in every direction like a warning. "Humans cannot build such things," hissed one reptilian delegate. His claws tapped against the desk. "Their fleets are small, their worlds poor. This ship is beyond them." A rival delegate leaned forward. "And yet you see the markings. Are your eyes liars? Perhaps the humans hide more than you think." That thought spread like poison. If the humans had built this ship in secret, then they had fooled the galaxy for centuries. They had acted weak while hiding weapons greater than the oldest empires. The suspicion grew heavy. The council ordered 3 fleets to surround the vessel. Proud warships from the Virex Dominion, the Yaru Collective, and the crystalline Seraphine Armada surged into the void. They did not trust one another, but fear forced them into uneasy unity. Their ships moved in careful lines, engines blazing, weapons ready. They wanted answers. When they reached the human vessel, their commanders spoke in sharp voices across every channel. "Identify yourself. State your origin. This is restricted space," but no answer came. The human ship did not slow, did not change course. It drifted forward as if the fleets did not exist. The Yaru commander grew impatient. He ordered probes forward. The tiny machines rushed toward the vessel, carrying bright eyes of data. But the moment they crossed near its hull, they vanished. No explosion, no signal, nothing. As if swallowed whole by darkness, a low ripple of fear passed through the fleets. The Seraphine tried to circle behind, forming a net, yet their crystal engines sputtered and died. Whole ships floated helplessly, caught in a silence they could not escape. Panic filled their voices. Systems failing. Controls unresponsive. The Virex commander cursed and demanded fire. "It is a bluff. Test its strength." One heavy cruiser launched a warning blast. The plasma streaked across the void and struck the vessel's armor. For one breath, nothing happened. Then the human ship moved. It was slow at first, then sudden. A single cannon rotated, glowing with terrible light. The response was not loud, not chaotic. It was clean. A beam of white fire lanced outward, and the Virex cruiser was gone. Not wrecked, not broken, gone. Where it had floated was now only empty space. Every commander fell silent. The fleets that had come to test the human ship now felt like insects before a storm. None dared fire again. The council chambers exploded with fear. Reports shouted through the air. "The ship destroyed a cruiser in a single strike." It did not even move fully, it only turned one cannon. What are we facing? Across the galaxy, common citizens whispered in shock. Traders closed their routes. Colonies prayed to their old gods. And everywhere eyes turned to humanity. If they had made this, then what else were they hiding? But the humans themselves spoke little. Their governments denied it. Their fleets had no record of such a craft. "This ship is not ours," said one human ambassador. "We do not know it. We do not control it." The denial only deepened the mystery. If humans did not know the ship, then who did? Was it built by humans long lost to the expanse? Was it a weapon from the future? Or had something else taken human steel and shaped it into a weapon the galaxy could not match? The council split in half. Some shouted to destroy the vessel before it reached civilized space. Others warned that any attack would mean death for thousands. The loudest voices claimed the humans were liars. "They play games with us," the Seraphine said. "They pretend weakness. Now their mask falls." Every race carried old scars of fear. For centuries they had balanced their power with care, keeping humanity on the outside. But this ship was a new piece on the board. No one knew how to answer it. Meanwhile, the human ship sailed onward. Its massive shadow passed through star systems, its weapons silent. It did not rush, it did not flee. It simply existed, and that was enough to unbalance the galaxy. And in the silence of space, many began to wonder. Perhaps the Forbidden Expanse had never been empty at all. Perhaps it had been hiding something. Something human. Something the galaxy was never meant to see. The fear turned into obsession. Leaders watched the skies with sleepless eyes. Fleets followed the vessel at a safe distance. Citizens told stories of the ship like a new legend. A shadow had entered their lives and no one could say what it meant. The galaxy had once laughed at the idea of humanity being powerful. Now no one was laughing. Now the galaxy feared. The galaxy had been filled with questions, but now it demanded answers. The human ship was no longer a rumor, no longer a blurry shape on a scanner. It had been seen. It had destroyed a Virex cruiser with a single strike. Whole fleets had been disabled by its presence. Fear was no longer a whisper. It was a storm. The Galactic Council pushed for proof. No more blurry images, no more second-hand reports. They wanted live recordings, close visuals, and clear signals. So they called upon the bravest captains from across the empires. These were men and women who had faced wars, black holes, and the darkest corners of space. Yet even they hesitated at the thought of approaching the Forbidden Expanse. Still, orders were orders. A squadron of ships was sent to shadow the vessel, to keep their distance but never lose sight of it. Every second of their journey was broadcast back to the council chambers. Millions across the stars watched the feeds in silence. At first, the images showed only size. The vessel dwarfed everything near it. Compared to the following cruisers, it looked like a mountain drifting among children's toys. Its surface was a patchwork of scars. Some looked like burns from plasma, others like deep cuts across metal skin. But the scars did not weaken it. Instead, they made it look older, stronger, like a beast that had survived every trap laid against it. Then came the weapons. Cameras zoomed in on cannons so large they seemed able to break moons apart. Missile bays lay sealed, yet their outlines promised firepower far beyond anything known. Along the spine of the vessel glowed strange vents, breathing out faint blue light as if the ship itself were alive. The sight alone was enough to rattle every empire. No fleet carried such weapons. No engineer claimed to understand them. "Are you certain those are human markings?" asked one counselor, his voice shaking. The human ambassador nodded, his face pale. The symbols were there, etched into the hull in bold strokes. They were words, numbers, and signs unmistakable to human eyes. The galaxy held its breath. The squadron tried to make contact. First, they sent a simple greeting, a burst of light signals across empty space. No answer. Then they tried radio waves, old and primitive. Still nothing. Finally, they opened their broad channels, speaking in every major language. "This is the Galactic Council. Identify yourself. We mean no harm." For long minutes there was silence. The ship moved on, uncaring, unstoppable. Then one captain grew bolder. He ordered his ship closer, his hull shaking as he approached. His crew whispered prayers, their eyes fixed on the vast shadow. Suddenly their lights flickered. Power drains rippled across their ship. Engines sputtered, shields collapsed. The crew cried out as if an invisible hand had pressed down upon them. They were alive, but their vessel hung like a stone in space, powerless. The cameras caught it all. The galaxy watched as a ship of proud warriors was reduced to helpless silence just by moving too close. The human vessel gave no warning, no gesture. It simply drifted past as though the crippled ship did not exist. The other captains panicked. They begged for orders, their voices filled with fear. "What do we do? It ignores us. It does not see us." In the council chamber, silence was heavier than stone. None dared to speak. None dared to order fire again, but fear drives recklessness. One young commander from the Yaru fleet refused to wait. Believing it was all a bluff, he fired a warning shot. A single bolt meant to scratch the hull to prove the vessel was not invincible. The shot streaked into the dark and struck the warship's side. The impact lit up the metal in a flash of sparks. For one heartbeat, the galaxy believed it might hold. Then the ship turned, slowly. With the weight of something ancient, one cannon rotated. Its surface glowed like molten sun. A beam of white light erupted, straight and merciless. The Yaru ship was gone in an instant. Not broken, not burning, gone. Every captain froze. Every counselor turned pale. The message was clear. This was not a bluff. This was not a game. The human vessel returned to silence, drifting once more as though nothing had happened. The only evidence of its wrath was the emptiness where the Yaru ship had been. The galaxy was shaken. Citizens across systems wept in fear. Children were pulled from windows as if the ship could see them. Soldiers clutched their weapons, though they knew they were useless. And everywhere one question grew louder. What was this ship? If it belonged to humanity, then the young race had been hiding a secret darker than anyone could imagine. But if it did not belong to them, if it came from something else, then what force had chosen human markings? The council screamed with arguments. Some shouted to destroy it now, before it reached inhabited space. Others begged to wait, to study, to learn. Humanity swore again it was not theirs, but no one believed them. The galaxy could no longer look at humans without suspicion. And still, the ship glided on, silent, patient, eternal. For the first time in living memory, the galaxy knew fear not of an empire, not of an army, but of a single ship, and that fear grew heavier with every passing moment. The destruction of the Yaru ship became the turning point. It was no longer a question of if the human vessel existed. It was no longer about rumors or shadows. The ship had revealed its power in front of fleets, in front of millions watching live. Now the galaxy faced the question of survival. In the council chamber, silence hung heavy after the recordings ended. The screen showed only the drifting shape of the human vessel, its cannons dim once more, its course steady. No one spoke for long moments. Then the shouting began. "We must destroy it before it enters civilized space," one counselor demanded, his voice sharp with fear. "Every hour we wait gives it time to choose its target. Destroy it?" Another cried. "Did you see what it did to the Yaru ship? Our weapons cannot scratch it. To fight that thing is to throw lives away." The argument spun like a storm. Some species demanded war, others begged for peace. Some believed it was not truly human, that it was a relic of an older empire dressed in human markings by accident. But many refused that hope. They believed the humans had lied for centuries, hiding strength behind false weakness. The human ambassador sat silent, his hands tight, his face pale. Again and again he swore, "This ship is not ours. We did not build it. We do not control it." But the more he denied, the less anyone trusted him. To the other empires, denial was only proof of guilt. Outside the chambers, fear spread through the stars. Citizens watched the footage and trembled. Merchants whispered that trade routes near the expanse were cursed. Soldiers refused to patrol the borders. Religious leaders declared the ship a sign of doom. On worlds both rich and poor, eyes turned upward in dread. The council tried to hold order. They debated day and night. Some argued to build a united fleet, to gather every empire's strength and face the ship together. Others warned that unity would not matter. If one cannon could erase a cruiser, then 1,000 ships would only mean 1,000 deaths. Suspicion twisted the debate further. Fingers pointed toward humanity. Old rivals recalled wars long past, moments when humans had shown surprising courage, surprising defiance. "We should have seen it sooner," one alien spat. "They were never as weak as they pretended. This ship proves it." Humanity's representatives begged for reason. They showed blueprints of their fleets, small frigates, light destroyers, nothing near the size of the drifting warship. But no one cared for evidence. The image of the colossal vessel burned brighter than any document. As the council fractured, fleets across the galaxy grew restless. Some ships were ordered to shadow the human vessel, but they kept their distance. Others prepared weapons in secret. Many leaders feared each other as much as they feared the ship. If humanity truly had such power, then every empire wanted to be ready for war. Meanwhile, the human ship itself offered no answers. It did not speak, did not signal, did not change its course. It drifted like a ghost, its shadow falling across star after star. Every system it passed through fell silent. Populations locked themselves indoors. Colonies dimmed their lights. The fear was so deep that people acted as if hiding could keep them safe. Then came the strange transmissions. On scattered worlds, old receivers picked up faint signals, static mixed with broken words. The language was human. The voices were human. But they were distorted, warped by distance or age. "Hold the line," one message whispered. "The expanse must remain sealed," said another. No one could confirm their source. Some swore they were echoes from the ship itself. Others believed they were ghosts of those who had vanished long ago. The council seized on these messages. Some said they proved the ship was human after all, a weapon built to guard against something in the expanse. Others claimed it was a trick, bait meant to lure the galaxy closer to doom. But no agreement was reached. Fear turned to anger. Entire empires threatened to leave the council. Trade collapsed as worlds shut their gates. Even within fleets, captains fought with their admirals. The galaxy's unity cracked like glass under pressure. And all the while, the human ship glided forward. It had no crew the galaxy could see, no voice to explain itself. Yet its silence was louder than any speech. Its very existence forced the galaxy to look at humanity in a new light, not as a young race, but as a shadow that might hold secrets older than stars. At last, one voice in the council spoke what many feared to admit. This ship is not moving toward our systems by accident. It has a purpose, and when it arrives, we will all see the truth, whether we wish to or not. The chamber grew silent once more. No one argued, because deep in their hearts, every being in that room already knew it. The ship was not wandering. It was choosing. And the galaxy was running out of time to decide what it would do when the choice was revealed. The galaxy had reached the edge of madness. Whole fleets circled the human vessel, careful to never get too close. Civilizations argued in panic. Old alliances broke apart. Some empires swore to attack the ship at first chance, while others begged for restraint. And still the vessel moved onward, unhurried, as though time itself bent around its will. It stopped for the first time at the edge of a quiet star system. The sudden stillness shocked the fleets following it. The massive ship no longer drifted. Its cannons began to turn. Sensors screamed as the weapons aligned, but the target was not them. The cannons aimed back toward the Forbidden Expanse. The Expanse had always been silent. No signal, no movement, no life. But now, as the human vessel locked its weapons on the void, the silence cracked. Space itself seemed to ripple. Energy waves rolled outward, bending scanners, twisting light. And then came the sound. Not through air, but through every comm system, every ship, every world. A low, endless hum like the heartbeat of something ancient. In the council chamber, leaders froze. "What is it doing?" One whispered. "Why does it face the Expanse?" The answer came not in data, but in fear. The Expanse split open. The black emptiness peeled apart like a wound tearing wider. From within emerged shapes vast and terrible. They were not ships, not as the galaxy understood. They were alive, but also machines. Their bodies shimmered with shifting plates of light, their movements slow but filled with unbearable weight. Eyes like suns burned across their surfaces. The first of them glided forward, taller than any dreadnought. Its presence alone made nearby fleets tremble. Crews screamed as their instruments failed. The hum grew louder, filling every channel, every mind. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy realized the Expanse had not been empty. It had been a prison. The human vessel roared to life. Its cannons flared, brighter than stars. Missiles poured from its bays like rivers of fire. The first creature reeled, its shimmering skin cracking under the barrage. But more followed behind, endless in number. The galaxy watched in horror and awe. The human ship alone stood against the storm. It fought with fury, its scars glowing as if they were battle medals from wars older than memory. Every blast it unleashed carried a message clear as words. This was not an intruder. It was a guardian. Then, for the first time, a voice came across the channels. It was human, calm, cold, final. The voice echoed in every ship, every world, every ear. "We told you not to look into the Expanse." The words froze the galaxy. They were not shouted, not full of rage, but spoken like truth carved into stone. The fleets that had once feared the vessel now dared not breathe. If this was a human creation, then humanity had not built a warship. They had built a wall, and if it was not theirs, if it was something even older, then it meant humanity had been chosen as its keeper. The council sat in silence. Fear mixed with shame. They had mocked humanity, dismissed them, doubted them. But now they saw a truth they could not escape. Whatever the human race truly was, it was tied to this ship, tied to the Forbidden Expanse, tied to secrets the galaxy had never dreamed of. The battle raged on at the border. The Guardians' weapons shattered the first wave. But more creatures poured out, endless and furious. Every explosion lit the sky like a dying sun. And still the ship did not retreat. It stood between the galaxy and the storm. The fleets that had followed, proud and arrogant, now watched helplessly. They saw the Guardian bleed sparks, its hull burning, yet it never slowed. For the first time, the galaxy realized this ship was not their enemy. It was the only thing holding the darkness back. The human voice spoke once more, colder now, almost tired. "If we fall, you all fall." And then the transmission cut. The galaxy stared at the screen, at the flames consuming the edge of the Expanse. Every leader, every soldier, every citizen felt the same truth crawl into their hearts. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not young. Humanity was tied to something far greater than anyone had imagined. The last image shown before the feed broke was of the human vessel, scarred and burning, standing alone against the impossible horde. It was a sight no one could forget. The council chamber filled with silence so deep it felt eternal. No one dared speak, because for the first time in centuries, the galaxy was united, not in politics, not in trade, not in pride, but in fear of what might come next. And in that silence, a question hung heavy in every mind. If this was only the beginning, what would humanity reveal when the true war arrived?